Hi guys, welcome to the Brethren. My name is Renee, this is Fictional Crafts, and this is going to be a little bit of a podcast episode 1, I guess. I am really struggling to record at the moment, and so I just thought it'd be smart to just do like a podcast format for maybe a couple of months, see how it goes, and just keep you updated with what's going on, and see if it works better. I love doing vlogs, but I've started so many vlogs and just stopped doing them or hated the video once I imported them. It's been a big drama. Anyway, my name is Renee. I live in Melbourne, Australia with my husband, 2 fur children, and 2 chaos demon humanoid children. I guess one is a child now. Mark is a child. He's at school. He's in primary school, first year. I call it prep because I'm used to calling it prep, but it's called foundation these days. And Morgan is still in kinder, so she's a toddler. She's my chaos demon toddler. And we live, as I said, in Melbourne, Australia, which is winter at the moment. I'm not looking forward to my gas and electric bill this month. It's been really cold here. And yes, I know, I could put a jumper on, but I'm perimenopausal, and I don't like... Even when I bought a new cheap jumper to try to get myself in the habit of putting something on. Anyways, this podcast is going to be about my crafty adventures, my reading adventures, and my writing adventures. Yes, because I am also, amongst all my other jobs, an independently published author, which means I run the entire publishing house. I sometimes interchange that with self-publishing when I speak, but in my head I'm starting to differentiate the pair, and I think we need to start thinking about the differences within the indie community, because there are people that will self-publish who will just spew whatever their story is onto their document and put it out there for people to read, which is fair. If you want to do it that way, by all means do it that way. And then there are people who write the book, go through the process of developmental editing, write the book again, rewrite the book. I've rewritten my books about 10 times before I publish them, and they're still not perfect. They're still not perfect. But yeah, and they pay for editors and maybe pay for cover designers, and so I sort of see... And then there's people all across the stream, and I think everyone is valid. I think every publishing way is valid, except for those fucking bastards that will take all your money and do jack shit. Beware those guys, beware those assholes. If you have a publishing company that wants you to pay them, they're not a publishing company. Anyway, okay. See, I can rant. So yeah, there's a lot of so's. Hopefully my shitty little microphone is working, because I can't use my expensive microphone because the AC adapter that I have for my camera interferes electronically with it. It's just a cheap knockoff. I need to buy the proper branded one. I'm worried about electrocuting myself one day. So yeah, so this is our time as brethren. We can grab some knitting, grab some drawing, do some craft, whatever you want to do. Have a coffee. It is Saturday morning. We're having a very, very lazy morning. I'm ignoring my adult duties. Parenting duties you cannot ignore. You have to make sure the kids are fed and watered and happy. They're camping in the lounge room at the moment, which means I've got a big clean up come Sunday afternoon, but if it keeps them happy, it keeps them happy. And that will give me the half an hour I need to sit and chat about what's been going on in my life, in my crafting making endeavours. So, what shall we start with? Shall we start with knitting? Knitting and crochet. I've got nothing out, so there's going to be some cuts in this video when I get up to get the items that I need, because I just turned the camera on and started recording. But my current and main project at the moment is a blanket. And I love knitting blankets. They're absolutely mindless. But they do get to a point where I just want them done. And that's where this blanket is right now. So, this blanket is just a self-drafted crochet blanket. Oh, I have it in here there. So I can't, it's going to fit on mine and my husband's king size bed. So it's big, but I can show you at least the colour. And this colour is a combination of Bendigo Wool & Mill's Rustic 4-ply, which is fingering weight yarn in the black charcoaly colour. It is a discontinued yarn. I am slowly going through the entire, in fact, I think this is it. No, I've got some scraps, but when I found out they released the 4-ply once, in my memory, I think they've released it before, but in my memory once, so a couple of years ago, they released the fingering, the 4-ply size. And I actually, in the time that it was in the mill, I took my mother-in-law up there, because she loves to knit too, and so we went up there. It was sort of my gift to her for Mother's Day sort of thing. I drove her up to Bendigo, because she can't really drive that far anymore. And I was talking to the lovely service lady behind the counter, customer service lady, and I mentioned how much I love the Rustic range, and she goes, "Oh, well, it's been discontinued." I went, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "You guys just released the 4-ply, and it's fantastic, and I love it." And she's like, "We're not going to be making any more of it." So I panic bought everything that was there. I had already intended to buy a lot whilst I was there, and I'd saved my pennies at the time, but I came home with kilos of the 200 gram balls that Bendigo Wool & Mills makes in the fingering 4-ply, and a couple of the Rustic 8-plies too, which is their DK weight. And it's been 3 years now, 3 years, and I think I'm finally getting to the end of it all, and I've learned a lesson from that, to not panic because it's going out of fashion or it's going out of stock. Because at the end of the day, I've gotten bored with the Rustic. I love the Rustic yarn, but I've gotten bored with it because it's all I've had to knit with, and I've sort of gone, well, I'm over this yarn now, and then I've just been finding projects to make it and get rid of it, and that's not how I want to create. I want to create intentionally. I want to create and enjoy what I create. It doesn't matter if it takes me 6 months to finish a jumper. I've done a few jumpers in the past, and it's taken me a while to learn what I like, and I do have some jumpers in my head to get to begin soon, but I haven't got the yarn for it yet, because I have been trying to use up the yarn I currently have. So I did a bit of a stash down for the last 5 years, and I'm at a point now where I am happy with what I've got and the amount I have, but now I need to sort of like work that down so I can go get some more new, fresh, shiny stuff. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. So anyway, Bendigo Wool & Mill's Rustic in their black or charcoal colour. I can't remember what the colour was called. And that was held double with Bellbird. I've got this out at the moment because I got stuck in my drawers and we had to like pull the cabinet out, like the drawer out of the cabinet to get it out. Yeah, here it is. This is all the yarn I've used since January this year. The ones I had tags for anyway. So Motivera Bellbird Wool Blend, which is 70% wool, 30% soybean, and that is from Motivera, which is a Spotlight brand. And Spotlight is our big sort of haberdashery and crafting store here in Australia. So yeah, I'm looking forward to counting that at the end of the year and seeing if it matches up with my see if it matches up with my electronic tracker that I have, because I've got a feeling I've missed a few things. But anyway, yeah, and then so I've done the main panel, and you can see it's huge, and I'm now up to doing the... Yes, baby? What is it, darling? Yeah, is that a yummy cheese toasty? Yeah, so, and then I'm onto the border. And this border is pure wool, which is also a spotlight yarn. It is... I should have just left this over here, shouldn't I? This one's actually now been discontinued too. So, pure wool, 4 seasons, 100% Australian wool, and it is being superseded with pure merino, which is absolutely beautiful, soft. But of course I decided to do that just as I'd got committed to using pure wool to make blankets for everybody. I still have to make Mark a blanket. But yeah, so just doing the border at the moment. I'm going to do a few more rows. I've got 2 balls in this, which are 500 grams plus maybe about half of another ball. I balled it up into, I was very sick of all the knots, so I balled them up into 200 gram combos. So I'm going to finish this one, and then I'm going to do a row of the Bellbird and the Bendigo Woolen Mills, because I've still got a little bit of yarn left for that, so I'm just going to do like 1 row in the border, and then I'm going to finish it off with another 200 grams. So I'm hoping to get about 20 centimeters around, but if I run out, I run out, because I'm not buying any more yarn for this project. I am done. I'm over it. I can't wait to have it on my bed. In fact, I'm probably going to finish it in time for spring to start, which is my life at the moment. Okay. Other projects I have 3 more projects that I want to finish before I want to finish at least 2 of these other projects before I start a new one. So I want to finish the blanket, then I've got 2 more smaller projects I want to finish, and then I'm going to allow myself to cast on something new. And I think I know what it's going to be, but I've got so many plans. But so at the moment, I had to wait until I got some more of the raffia, but I've got it now, so yay. But I have been making a summer hat. This is another crochet project. I haven't crocheted in years, and now all of a sudden I'm crocheting like a storm, so it's a little bit tight, and I'm kind of hoping it will stretch as I wear it, but I'd rather it tight, and then slowly stretch, and then I've literally just got to do the brim, but it's really tight weave and it hurts my hands, so I kind of got to do like a little bit and then put it away and then pull it out again and do a little bit more. But I really like it. I can't wait to use this in summer. I've bought some really pretty pink and blue and white raffia for my daughter. She wants a summer hat too. So I've sort of got that to finish. Ugh. And then my travel project. So I've got a project that I like to just chuck into my bag, and if I have like a quiet half hour at work, because if I get all my jobs done at work, I still have to sit there for the phones. So sometimes I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs for a quote to come through or something like that. And so the job I have, so the project I have for that process is a sock. So this is, the raffias came from Spotlight. It's just their paper raffia. And then the beautiful coloured one that I bought, I actually got from Temu, as I figured it's paper. I mean, can they really fuck up paper? No, and it is nice. But that's So no real brand name. I think it was like Crafter's Choice or something, whatever the Spotlight brand is for their crafting supplies. And then this is a self-striping sock yarn and gold, which I'm using for toes and cuffs. I'm not putting heels in these socks, so this will come from Half Baked Hand Dyed. And I bought, and that's Morgan's pair of socks, that one there. The kids pick their own, so what we do, or what I try to do, is I try to save my pennies for what used to be called the Coburg Yarn Market, done by the Melbourne Hand Spinners and Weavers Guild. It changed its name this year, which meant I nearly missed it, but I got it, I found it, and one of the yarn dyes I follow on Instagram posted up, a local one, she posted it up the flyer for it. I went, ooh, but not forget that, put it in the calendar. And so every year the intent is to go as like my Mother's Day gift. So the Mother's Day portion of it is that my husband comes with me and looks after the kids for me when they get bored. So they do love to run around and see the yarn, and they love, oh God, what's her name? They love the Half Baked Hand Dyed yarn. So I don't generally knit with nylon contented sock yarn superwash. I will knit, because I actually find it makes my eczema go really nasty, but I will knit self-striking socks from the Half Baked Hand Dyed for my kids, because they're the colours that's the yarn they want, that's the socks they want. So this year Mark picked this beautiful, was it ball of self-striping blues and whites. Now I had stopped doing the twisty sock thing, and I'd actually started doing just plain rib, and I got him to try it on, and I realised that the twisty part only got to the bottom of his heel, so I had to rip back a fair portion of it. So I'd have to keep doing more twists, because obviously the point of the twist is to create the heel for the sock, so that the sock eventually like sort of twists itself around the foot and becomes the heel part. So yeah, so that's just in my bag. I leave that in my bag. It just goes everywhere with me, and if I have 10 minutes to do a couple of rows, I do that. It's great for all the appointments we've had to have, and it just means that I've got something to help me get through the appointment whilst whilst Mark is getting the care he needs. So that's that one. And the last project, the one I'll probably do next after I finish the blanket, and the one I really want to get done, is I made a beret for Morgan out of this yarn, and this yarn is Heirlooms alpaca, and I had leftovers, and so with the leftovers I made kilometers for her, but I only had enough yarn to make one leg. So I had to wait for a sale, and I've ended up getting some more. This is the most expensive stuff, but she wears it, so I'm happy for her, and I'm making it big enough that she can wear it next year, so it's not a big deal. But I used the Ratatouille pattern, and just instead of making like the hand section with the thumb, I just did it as one big sack. One big sort of section. So I'm just going to copy that, make another one, and then I am definitely going to have enough yarn left over to probably make the Ratatouille gloves. So she'll have a hat, gloves, and leg warmers, all in the same colours, similar patterns. That'll be for next year. It's not for this year, because by the time I finish it, it'll be spring, but actually it'll probably once I finish the blanket, the leg warmer is going to be really quick to finish, because I remember I finished the first leg warmer in like 4 or 5 days, so in about a week. I might be able to get it finished before it's too hot to wear. No, my daughter should wear it in the middle of summer anyway. So yeah, so that's all my knitting. Okay, I do have a spinning project on the go at the moment, and I am okay. So I have a spinning project on the go at the moment. I am trying to intentionally spin enough for a cardigan, about 3k weight. I mean, I haven't really checked. I mean, yeah, it ranges from probably fingering weight right up to like chunky, but I'm learning. I'm a learning spinner. But I've got I haven't even weighed these. I think these are about 100 grams, 150 grams. I've got 2 done so far, and this is a combo spin of the same. This is the same fibre as what Bendigo Woolen Mills used to put in their rustic range. You can, if you go to their website, you can get what they call ready spin bats, slivers. It's a kilo of fibre for spinning, and they always have the Aran, which is the white one. They always have that available, but every so often they have sort of specialist colours and unusual colours. I know they have stuff at their clearance centre in the mill that they don't put on the website, so I know there's other colours and mixes available, but they always have the Aran Ready Spin on the website. So what I did a couple of years ago when I first started spinning, they had this colour called Linen Fleck, which is absolutely stunning. It's an absolutely beautiful colour. So it's sort of like a mix of the Aran with some flecks of linen-y brown in it. And about 6 months ago, I got it in my head to make that fibre into a hexagon cardigan. But I wasn't spinning it at the time. I was actually separating it and turning it into unspun yarn. And I got about halfway through half of it. So I got about 300 grams into one side of the hexagon, and I realised that there was not going to be enough yarn, because it was still, because I was making quite thick roving. Yes, baby?
Exactly. I need to look normal.
Okay. Toddler emergency. All sorted. Okay. I have no idea what I was doing, so let's just start from scratch. So, oh, that's right. I was talking about the Linen Fleck. So, the Linen Fleck, Bendigo Woolen Mills. I realised I wasn't going to have enough to make the cardigan. Yes, JJ. The way I was making it. So, and because it was a limited colour, there was no, other than finding it second hand. Yes, JJ, what are you doing? There was no way I was going to get any more. So what I decided to do was to buy a second Bendigo Woolen Mills Ready Spin in the Aran colour. And what I'm doing is I am now spinning this up and plying it with the Aran. And that's the effect I get. So it actually still looks like Linen Fleck. And I've recently acquired the jumbo flyer for my Ashford traditional, and as you can see here, I've done one full bobbin. This is all just single ply, and that's the Linen Fleck. And I have to laugh a little bit because I went from only having 4 standard bobbins, which I got with the Ashford when I bought it secondhand off a friend, to having those 4 standard bobbins and 10 jumbo bobbins. So I bought the jumbo flyer and I thought, no, I want to be able to do at least a 3-ply. So it came with 1, and then I bought another 3 bobbins, and I had to wait a little bit for them. And in the meantime, I was just randomly on Facebook Marketplace, and a lovely lady, absolutely lovely lady, Brenda was her name? Absolutely, she was such a sweetie. But she was selling the tensioned lazy Kate that comes with the e-spinner. So she had already sold her e-spinner to someone else, and she still had this, and she was selling this, and I'm like, well, I've actually modified my upright, which is down here, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, to have tension on it. But it can technically fit. Oh, JJ, get off my keyboard. Cats. I don't know which child's worse. And so, because I like to do 2-ply a lot, I thought to myself, I'm going to grab that for the big chunky bobbins, so I can just spin them like crazy, spin like until I'm got 8 bobbins full of this stuff, because this is a bulk spin, and I like doing bulk spins. I've done it. I should show it as a finished object. It's actually really, really cute. I got some Ichel bunny fibre from the from the Coburg market, and that was like my first. Like, I had to spin it. It was so glorious. It was beautiful. It was merino silk, and it's called Rainbow Cloud, I think. I'll put it up here. It's absolutely stunning, beautiful, beautiful fibre. I want to get some more of it. I want to get enough to make my daughter a jumper in it, because I think she would love it. But I spun that up, and I almost immediately knitted that into a beanie for her. So she's now got a little beanie. It fits me, so if she doesn't wear it, I will. Not really beanie wearer, but it's just like an off-white colour, but when you look at it, you can see all the rainbow colours in it. That's absolutely stunning. And but whilst she was selling that, also one of her other, so that came with 2 more bobbins. So that's 6 bobbins. And then she had a separate listing for 4 bobbins. So I went, you know what? You can never have enough bobbins. So I now have 10 jumbo bobbins and 4 standard bobbins for my spinning wheel. And I'm a little bit off spinning at the moment because I was really, really tired last week, but I just wanted to spin. I just really, really wanted to spin. And I put a new bobbin on. And because I put a new bobbin on, I had to readjust all my tension. I had to do all that. And I fucked up. I didn't realise that my tension wire had actually popped out of the back of the bobbin. And so for like the first 100, 200 metres, I'm sitting there going, what's wrong? What's wrong with my spinning? What's wrong with my wheel? I don't understand what's wrong with it. And it's so over-twisted. So I'm hoping I can recover that. Maybe when I'm plying it, I might like try to untwist it a little bit, try to get it a little bit calmer. But that bobbin is a little bit of a mess because I also wanted to do some spinning a couple of days ago, and it was too cold here in my study where I normally spin. I normally spin in this chair, sort of facing that way with my wheel in front of me, because I don't have a lot of space between my bookcases and my desk. But my spinning wheel fits quite nicely, and it's on rubber mats in here. This is our garage. We've got a 3-bedroom house and 2 kids. This is the only place we can have a study. And you know what? It works for us because I've got my books and we've got our Lego collection, and we've got a nice big space where the kids can come in and we do Lego builds. They did Duplo trains set the other day. They did big Duplo city. And anyway, but I took it out to the lounge room, and I've never spun out on our new floors. and the spinning wheel was sliding all over the place, wasn't it? So I put a towel down, and that's still, every time I was like putting my foot down, it was just sliding the spinning wheel out. And I persisted, hoping that it was just me, that I was on the wrong angle, whatever. But yeah, so I've got about, I would say about 100 grams of really overspun yarn at the moment, singles, and I'll see what I can do in plying. I'm trying to learn better, trying to get better at plying to make it, you know, sort of do what I want it to do, as opposed to just letting it ply itself. So we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, so that is pretty much all my crafting at the moment. I think that is all my crafting. I've got a few things that I want to get done. I really want to do some spinning. I really do want to do spinning at the moment. But I want to finish the blanket. So I'm hoping to like finish the blanket and then sort of have the spinning as my big project while I do the little ones. And then once all the yarn's spun up, I'll be able to assess how much I have and what kind of pattern I can go for. I'm kind of hoping to do a modified version of the hexie cardigan. So there's a version I saw on Passionate Kelsey where instead of doing 2 hexagons, you do like a rectangle at the back.
Mama,
Yes, Morgan.
my other toasty was yucky. That's why I just put it in the bin.
Okay, good girl.
But Mama, can I have toasty? So if you do not.
You can have a couple of bickies because Toasties is healthy. Toasty is healthy enough.
Can I have chocolate ice cream?
No ice cream. It's too early for ice cream. Ice cream only in the afternoons. Okay?
After I eat lots and lots of blah.
What about an apple? You haven't had an apple for a while. Have a nice yummy apple. Make your stomach feel better.
No,
Or a pear.
no.
Just wants to eat junk food all day, every day. Right, so this is why I can't get any writing done at the moment, guys, is because I get distracted and I lose my train of thought. Mum brain is real. Okay. I'm not sure you can hear this, but my fur child is down here. Purring away. Okay, yeah, I really want to get, so when it comes to crafting, I want to get this blanket finished. That's like my focus at the moment, and I just want to get it done. 1, I want it on our bed, and 2, I'm over it now. I want to break, that's what I was going to say. The cardigan I'm planning on doing is a modified version of the hexagon. So I'll put a link to it if I can below. If I can find it again. I've saved it. I can find it. And what she does is, instead of 2 hexagons, she starts with a rectangle in the back. So you do the rectangle, and then when you get to a certain size, you add a few corners at what's going to be the armpit to make the hexagon sleeve. So what I want to do is take that pattern and flip it. So she does a rectangle across your back. I want to do it up and down the spine, so that by the time I get to making the sleeves, I'm going to have quite a long jacket. And then hopefully that means, because I like jackets to cover my back, and that's the one thing I don't like about the hexagon cardigan, is that it stops really high and then you have to add layers to the bottom. When this, I'm hoping to avoid adding layers to the bottom by having it that way. We'll see what happens. It might be a disaster, you know what? That's okay. That is my plans for that spinning yarn. If I don't have enough yarn, then I'll just have to maybe do a standard cardigan. I could knit a cardigan, to be honest. I haven't knit a jumper or a cardigan in a long time. Anyway, so reading. I'll be very, very quick about my reading. I'm not been a fast reader lately, and it's because of the book I'm reading, which is great because that's what I want to do. I want to take my time and read slowly at the moment. But the book most recently finished, and one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is because I've recorded the independent review for this. I've also recorded an independent, I'm doing a project on my channel where I am trying to read 100 adult independently published sci-fis. 100 independently published adult science fiction books. Different authors, different books. If I'm reading a series, like I love the McMurdo series by Bradley and Lejeune, and I'm still reviewing them, but I'm not counting them as extras in the number. I'm just counting them as the one number. So this book, The Scorching, which actually Martin from the Bradley and Lejeune duo actually has read and said they really enjoyed it, and I agree. I actually really enjoyed this, but I realised when I recorded it and I put the video on and I went, oh shit, I've still got like 5 reviews I haven't edited and put up. And I kind of want to hope to do one of them this week, but I also think this podcast is more likely to go up than one of them. I had a really bad run where there was like 3 books in a row that I DNF'd because I just couldn't stand them. I try to be kind, but honest. And if a book's not working for me, it doesn't necessarily mean it won't work for you, but I am not going to waste time on it because I have got so many books I want to read in this world. It's insane to force myself to read 600 pages of a book that I know on page 20 it's not for me because it's the tone or it's the or there's just one too many questions about the world building already that are not as in what's going on, as in that doesn't make sense. Why is the character acting this way when they said this beforehand? But The Scorching doesn't do that. The Scorching was actually a lot of fun. It has its moments. It's not a perfect book or novella, but it's good enough that I will get the rest of this author's back catalogue. I believe they have also written a military sci-fi series, which I am very excited to get to because military sci-fi is one of my favourite genres. And yeah, I really did enjoy The Scorching, but I have done a separate video, which I'm going to upload hopefully soon, so you can see more about that book and my thoughts on it in that video. It's only a short one, it's not like 5 minutes, but the book I'm currently reading is this chunky bastard. So this is The Sagas of the Icelanders. So this is a Penguin Classics Deluxe edition. And it's got... I'm in the middle of Egil's Saga at the moment, but it's got 10... 1, 2, 3... Oh, hang on. So I've got 17 sagas and tales in it from the Icelandic mythology, history, whatever. And my intention is to read like one, put it down, read something else, come back, read another one. And I'm about 100 pages into Egil's Saga, 113, and there's like 180. So I've got about 70 pages left to go. And I won't lie, it reads like the Silmarillion. So that initial first section of the Silmarillion where Tolkien is talking about I'm having brain fart moment. The Atori and all these sort of powerful beings / gods. And there's sort of like the, this happened and that happened, blah, blah, blah. It's that kind of wording, which is fine. I love the Silmarillion. I read it pretty much once a year at the moment. I haven't read it for a couple of years recently, actually. I want to get a new copy of it and I want to annotate it. So I haven't read it now for about 2 years because I keep putting off buying that copy. But I do have it on audiobook, so I can just rant. Confession. The Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings are our cleaning audiobooks. So when hubby and I have actually got a chance to clean the house, yeah, it is not uncommon for us to put that on as to listen to, like, to the point where my husband, who does not read much at all, knows the Silmarillion better than some people I know that claim to be Tolkien fans. I mean, give him a book on the Titanic and he's happy. But, I mean, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, this is sort of the book that I'm currently reading. And I've got about, as I said, 70 pages left of Edgel Saga. So I've already annotated so much. I'm actually annotating mainly... I'm trying to read this with a feminist lens a little bit. And I'm just very interested in the fact that this was written about the time the kings of Norway and that were starting to bring Christianity into the Norse culture. And then, so that's what the story, when the stories are occurring, but the stories were written about 300 years after that point by Christians. And so it's I'm just interested in these little snippets of information that seem to have gotten past the biases of the writer. Of, like, there's a point where it's very clearly stated that the daughter of a very powerful landowner had the right to inherit her father's land. And it was just put in there. Like, it's like one sentence. But that's what I'm sort of tracking. And there's a lot more than you would expect. So that's one point. And then another point I'm tracking is where maternal heritage is mentioned or important. So it's very interesting to me that even though the general, like, male-dominated society that they tell us the Vikings were, that there's these little snippets where there are some famous figures that literally don't even have their father mentioned. They've just got their mother's lineage mentioned, at full stop. And then as part of that as well, the little snippets that you get of when women were left behind. Like, they were the ones looking after the entire household, running the entire household. So just little bits like that. That's what I'm sort of... And then the other things I'm sort of keeping an eye on is historical or changes to culture, like things that have been mentioned, like just... Like, there's this thing where they say they sprinkled the baby, or they sprinkled the baby with water. And I initially thought that was the Christians sort of writing, inserting baptism into the story. But I've done a little bit of research, and it appears to be at the time, it is believed that the Christians would actually dunk the child entirely into water, when this is just sprinkling a little bit on their forehead or whatever, possibly on their naming day. So it sounds like this might actually be a part of Norse culture. That is like, but because it was putting water on the baby, sprinkling the baby with water, it's acceptable because it sounds like baptism. So it's actually mentioned quite a lot, that bit. But yeah, and then I've got just a section for quotes and another one for interesting or other points. So just little things where I go, ooh, that's an interesting way to do it, because there is obviously introductions and things. Most of the interesting / other is in my introduction. But yeah, so I'm slowly going through that. This one is going to take me ages, because my plan is to read a saga, then have a break, read something else, and then come back and read the next saga. So it is going to take a while, which is fine. Not a big deal. And then I will show you my current... So I've got technically 3 TBRs at the moment. I've got the TBR that you can just see off camera here, which is like a shelf tree shelf. And that's about... It's about 20 books, which I want to get done by the end of this year, if not early next year. And then inside my actual bookshelves, I actually had them all separated, and I think I put the video up. Have I put the video up with the vlog where I made this decision? I think so. But my thought process was, because I was really getting overwhelmed with the amount of books I had in my to be read pile, I've decided to put the books that are like sequels or books that are authors that I want to read like the entire catalogue of, I've put into my collection. And once I get my TBR down, hopefully to like 5 books, because I want to keep reading new releases. I'm going to start up at A in my bookshelf, and I'm going to spend the time and the money, I'm going to have to do some saving next year, to replace like secondhand books that I really loved with maybe a new shiny edition that I can reread and annotate, or if I can get them, matching editions, because my brain does not like trade. Oh look, big paperback. So we'll see what we can do. I mean, it's pretty hard to get some of these editions because some of the books that I like are no longer in print. So I've got to live with what I can get. But the idea then is, as I go through, like I'll go through my A's, and I know there's a couple of Jane Austens that I want to get new versions of, and I love my Jane Austen collection. It's sort of the vintage edition with the nice pretty patterns, but I'm actually going to put that in the family library and only keep my two favourite Jane Austens in here, which will be the new editions I'm going to get. Because I want to get the Pride and Prejudice and the Persuasion where they've got the letters inside it. I really want that edition. And things like that. So that's sort of like going to be the focus over the next couple of years for reading. So there's 2 of my TBRs, and then the third TBR is what I've got in my cart. So they're the things that I am ready to get reading once I finished Egel's Saga. The next book after Egel's Saga that I'm planning on reading is this book. It's The Mission of Roark by Erica Everin. And this is a book 1 in a adult indie published sci-fi series. And it's nice and short. It is under 200 pages, so it'll give me a nice taste of the author's writing. I'll be able to tell you if I like it or not, and if I want to continue on with that series. The next non-fiction I want to read is actually River Kings, which is Kat Jarman, which is obviously about the Norse, and I believe it focuses on their travels into the Silk Road and things like that. And this book I am desperate to read because I really want to watch the TV series of it, and that is The Swarm by Frank Schultzing. So I saw this book on another booktuber's account, and I was just fascinated by the sound of it. I do love a little bit of environmental sci-fi, and I looked it up, and it was going to cost me like $50 to get the book. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get $50 to get the book if I don't like it. And then we went away late last year, and I went into like a second-hand store with the kids just to kill some time, and I found a copy of it for $5. So yes, I am very, very, very happy. So yes, I've got those ones to read. I'm hoping to finish Egel's Saga in maybe the next week and get started on the next book there. And I think I'm going to run out of space on my card in a minute, so I better be a bit quick. And what I'll do is I'm going to hold up my Onyx. So this is my Onyx, which is my replacement for a laptop. I love this thing. It's an e-reader, so it's like it's got the e-ink, but it's also an Android, which means that I can download and use Microsoft Word on this, which is what I'm currently using because I'm at that point of editing. So when it comes to my indie writing, when it comes to my own sci-fi, I currently have Descent out only. It's been out now for about 3 years, and it still sells. I wish it had a few more people batting for it on Goodreads, but you know, what do? You can't do much about that. You can't write for everyone, and if you write for everyone, you end up with bullshit. You end up with just mushy crap. So you gotta pick your fights. But the second book that I am currently writing is actually the first Brethren file. So this book is effectively Eric Hiller and how he joins the werewolf crew. And the next book that I'm currently writing, Botany, is a Brethren file, which is an Eric and Captain Hawk adventure about them going and rescuing one of the other captains of the Brethren, which is the pirate crew's sort of what they call themselves, based off obviously the Brethren of the Caribbean pirates here in history. And they are, so one of the other captains, Captain Desmond, gets captured, gets taken to a penal planet, and Hawk and Eric go to get him out. Well, all of them go, but it's Hawk and Eric that land. So I'm having fun with it. I am in the point where we've had the developmental edit, and I'm now at the point where I'm sort of going through the copy edit? Line edit? Structural? No, it's not structural edit. It's not developmental edit. It's that edit in between. Fuck, I always forget the names. I always forget the names of them. But yeah. So I'm about 8 chapters in of 30. It's not a huge book. It's only got about 60,000 words, but it's still a novel. And I'm hoping to get, in the next month, I am hoping to be in chapter 20 somewhere, like 21, 22, 24, somewhere in there. I'm just at the moment answering all my editor's questions. Like if she says, I don't understand what's going on here, I might add a few paragraphs to explain what's going on. And then I've got to go back through it and clean it up and make it sound like me, as opposed to, and flow better. So yeah, so that's where I am with edits. I also am in the middle of drafting Chosen, which is Captain Hawk's origin story. But I've had to put that on hold to get the editing done, because I can't edit and draft at the same time. My brain can't switch that quickly. So yes, I'm about to run out of space. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Let me know below if you're reading anything fantastic at the moment, or you know any indie adult sci-fi books that I might like. And I would say like, comment and subscribe, but we are all adults here. Do whatever the fuck you want. And I shall see you in the next video.